Hello everyone, it's me, Juan Gamer54 back in the video, and today we're going to be doing another reaction video. We're trying to catch up from last week. So anyways, we're going to be tackling Watch Your Back, essentially, or I guess, yeah, it's just Spider-Man's his own worst enemy, and it's of course about the Spider-Verse. I really like Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, and I'm excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse. So without wasting any time, let's do this, alright? No wasting time.
So, Miguel thinks that Miles is an anomaly in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Okay, but wait, isn't the Peter Parker from the PlayStation Spider-Man games in Across the Spider-Verse?
Video game guy.
I love video games.
Another video game guy.
Are you talking to me? And there is a Spider-Verse cameo in the Insomniac universe.
And if Miguel comes looking for these, tell him finders keepers.
Wait, who's Miguel? So they're definitely connected. But
Yeah.
Miles is also Spider-Man in the PlayStation universe. So why is Spider-Verse Miles an anomaly, but PlayStation Miles isn't? Is it just because of the multiversal Spider-Bite? We need answers.
Actually, that's kind of a good point, really. Like, I'm not trying to pause the video, but it's like, it really is a good point. Like, how would Miguel feel about, like, say, Ultimate Spider-Man's Miles Morales? Or, you know, PlayStation Miles Morales? I mean, like, does he hate all Miles, or does he just, you know, hate one particular Miles? I think it has something to do with the fact that, you know, the Peter Parker from Miles Morales' world, you know, died not the way how he should be, and that's why he has some sort of resentment. He was never meant to be Spider-Man, but I think in the whole scheme of things, Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and PlayStation Spider-Man were meant to be Miles Morales. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's the plan here. I like its different versions. Different versions.
A theory can. Guys, I love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Always have, probably always will. And a lot of that love comes from his long and storied career up on the silver screen. Little Lee was the perfect age when the Sam Raimi movies came out. And since then, though there have been a lot of ups...
Well, it's good to see you, dear boy.
It's good to see
Oh,
you.
no.
And a lot of downs.
I'm not sure how I got here. Has to do with Spider-Man, I think.
The webhead has been a constant companion in the cinema. But
Yeah.
some of the best films in the franchise have to be the Spider-Verse films from Sony Animation.
Yep.
Let me tell you, these things came out of nowhere. No one expected Into the Spider-Verse to just crush it, or Across the Spider-Verse to live up to its hefty expectations. Pretty much the only thing I wasn't a fan of was that cliffhanger at the end. It's been a year, and we still don't know where the story's going. But don't
Unfortunately,
you worry,
we have to
Sony
wait
planned
more,
ahead,
man.
knew we'd want the conclusion to this story ASAP, and scheduled for the sequel Beyond the Spider-Verse to release last week on March 29th, 2024. So you can imagine my surprise and disappointment when I rolled up to the theater and realized that they've indefinitely delayed the movie.
They stole it from me, Carmine! They took it! That was today! Today!
Nah, but for real, though I would have loved to see the conclusion to this.
I mean, it's not all bad. We got Spider Within, and it was still solid. It may not be in the same... I mean, it might as well be in the same tier as the main movies. And it was a short film. I'm not mad about it. Let Beyond the Spider-Verse take as much time as it needs to cook. Because I swear to you, that movie's going to get us standing up with a standing ovation. I promise you that.
Story wrap up this quickly, the artists and animators should definitely take their time and make this the ending this story deserves.
Yes.
Well, in a healthy working environment. But in the meantime, to tide us over, the fine folks over at Sony Animation decided to release a short film set in the Spider-Verse titled The Spider Within.
Yes.
Free right here on YouTube.com. So please, go check it out after this theory.
You really
if you haven't
should.
seen it already. Short story shorter, The Spider Within sees Miles confronting a terrifying inner demon before realizing that it's all in his head. His spider sense is just cranking up the mundane threats Miles is feeling to the nth degree, reflecting real-world mood disorders like anxiety. It's a cool way to tell that story and a fun spin on that power. A nice short film and nothing more, right? Wrong! See, this isn't just some super.
What do you mean wrong?
What Miles is feeling here and everything he's confronting, Shadow Demon and all, are real things that can happen in the real world. And what's even worse for Miles, this can be deadly, with the danger only amplified by Miles' very own superpowers. These visions and Miles' spider sense reaction to them could be leading him to an early grave.
What?
Put on your masks, loyal theorists, we're whipping into it. So first things first, let's get on the same page about what exactly happens in The Spider Within.
All right.
The short film starts with Miles thinking about how his lack of superpowered work-life balance is stressing him out. Miles tries to go to bed, but before he can lay down, his spidey sense goes off. He whips around and nothing. There's no one else in the room. He tries to relax, but again is overwhelmed.
Oh man, I'm bugging.
Before long, Miles is confronted by a shadowy version of himself that pushes him into his bed, into a dream. Here, Miles and the Shadow Man fight before the shadow turns into a giant spider and chases Miles.
Yep.
Explodes into a swarm of smaller spiders that cover Miles before he screams and curls up in the corner of his room. After a moment, he calms down, and all the spiders are gone. Realizing that he needs to talk to someone, Miles takes a walk with his dad, confiding about what's stressing him out and his crush on a certain somebody. And yeah, that's it. So, what happened here? Well, clearly Miles' spidey sense went haywire and created a sort of hallucination or dream that attacked him. But how did it do that? Well, to explain that, we'll need to discuss the history of the power and how it's been portrayed in film and TV.
Okay.
Spider sense is one of the webhead's most iconic abilities.
Yes.
And it's found its way into most adaptations of the character.
Oh,
In comics,
I like that
Spider-Sense was one
Spectacular
of
Spider-Man
Peter
came
Parker's
back.
original powers, dating all the way back to the character's debut. Since then, it's evolved into sort of a precognitive warning of impending danger, described as a tingling sensation in the back of Peter's skull. It overrides his reflexes and automatically gets his body to do what it needs to keep himself and others around him out of danger. Also, apparently it's a connection to the Web of Life and Destiny multiverse that Madam Web oversees.
He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
No. Get out of here. We are not talking
Yeah,
about
get outta here.
Anyway, when it comes to how the spider sense
Give
has
us the
been
real
depicted
one.
in film and TV, they've mostly gone with it as a sort of early warning system for Peter. Though,
Yeah.
interestingly enough, each iteration has done its own thing regarding how they show this. In the Tobey Maguire trilogy, it's sort of a slow motion effect where Spidey is suddenly aware of everything going on around him.
Sin.
Great reflexes.
In Andrew Garfield's films, it's
He
like
ain't
a
slick, he's
high-pitched
doing
greeting
this
that
for the
comes
women.
up as Peter notices something or does some slapstick comedy. Though The Amazing Spider-Man 2 does have a pretty slick slow-mo sequence. The MCU really downplayed the ability as just the Peter tingle.
Please do not start calling it my Peter tingle.
Ha.
And initially portrayed it as Spidey just getting goosebumps. That being said, No Way Home really amped it up, allowing his body to move on its own without Peter's spirit in a more comedic scene, while also taking advantage of the classic Dolly zoom effect to make it really unsettling in a more serious moment.
Got it. Slow
Meanwhile,
motion.
most of the animated series incorporated some flashing imagery and high-pitched musical notes,
Spider sense.
or lines around Spidey's head. The Spider-Verse films again lean into the spider sense being a sort of early warning system for most of its spider people.
Yeah.
I was the only one.
And the power is visually represented by those same wavy lines. And despite how much I hate to say it, the power also seems to tie into the whole Web of Life and Destiny thing by letting spider people identify each other through just their senses, whether or not they're in costume or even from the same universe.
You think you're the only people who thought to come here?
However, this Spider Within
Yeah.
short portrays spider sense unlike any of the other big film or TV adaptations, likening it to an anxiety disorder, specifically with panic attacks. If
Oh.
you don't know, anxiety disorders are exactly what they sound like. They're a type of mental disorder that make those who suffer from them feel uncontrollable fear or unease. And there are several different types: generalized anxiety, hypochondria, social anxiety, separation anxiety. You get the idea. Meanwhile,
Right.
panic attacks can be the result of anxiety disorders that involve, well, intense panic. It's straight up in the name. They feel like you're dying, like you're having a heart attack. It's pretty awful stuff. Get this, throughout this short, we see Miles exhibit several symptoms of anxiety disorders connected to his spider sense. Feeling nervous, restless, or tense. When he's trying to relax in his room, he can't keep still or stop thinking about his problems. So, check there. Avoidance behaviors. Miles self-isolates in his room instead of watching movies with his dad. So,
I know.
check. Trouble concentrating on anything other than his present worry? Well, those worries prevent him from watching movies or even listening to music.
You always seem so distracted. He's very
Miles, you're late. Again.
Check again.
Again.
Having a sense of impending danger, panic, or doom, other than the obvious precognitive effect of the spider sense keeping Miles safe in battle, it also triggers during this short when there's no danger around him at all. So again, big check there. Sweating? Check. Breathing rapidly or hyperventilating?
Yep.
Another check. Trouble sleeping? Massive check.
Mm-hmm.
There are even some reports where anxious individuals can feel like there's a tingling, prickling, or crawling sensation across their whole body, just like we see with Miles. Check again. In fact, despite seeming like something completely fictional or pulled from a horror comic book, Miles seeing that shadowy version of himself that turns into a giant spider is something that could be a symptom of anxiety disorders. One of the potential side effects is known as sleep paralysis.
Oh,
and this
no.
can be seriously traumatic for individuals suffering from it. Basically, this is a state while falling asleep or waking up during which a person is fully conscious but can't move their body at all. Their mind is awake, but their body is asleep. This can happen because of a weird glitch in the brain during the period of deep sleep known as rapid eye movement or REM.
Jeez. Like, I understand that it was bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. I never really experienced something like that where I'm fully awake, but, you know, I cannot move my body. That's horrible. Jeez, like, I feel... My condolences for everyone out there who suffer from this. Just, yikes. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I feel like my hairs are standing up just, you know, knowing all this, but it's important for everyone for self-awareness.
Sleep, there's heightened activity in the brain, which is partially the cause of vivid dreams and nightmares. At the same time, during REM sleep, your body usually enters muscle atonia, basically paralysis, so you don't flail around and hurt yourself during said dreams. You're supposed to sleep through this whole thing, but if your brain crosses some wires as you enter or exit REM sleep, you'll be paralyzed but conscious and still experiencing those vivid dreams, just while you're awake and laying in bed. It's wild stuff, and sleep paralysis like this can cause super vivid hallucinations, including sleep paralysis demons that loom over you while you can't move, sometimes putting pressure on your
God, don't
muscles
do
as
that.
you struggle to breathe.
Stop.
Yeah, sleep paralysis demons. That's what they're actually called. And again, wouldn't you know it, but all of this is exactly what we see happening to Miles in this short film. Miles lays down and tries to get some rest, clearly trying to calm down and go to sleep, but shortly into it, Miles looks up and sees this shadowy version of himself at the foot of his bed. This particular shadowy figure in The Spider Within reminded me a lot of stories of Shadow People or the Hat Man. Fairly common variations of these sleep paralysis demons that just look like shadowy human silhouettes. So he's clearly terrified. Even with his spider sense, Miles can't move at all, like he's paralyzed. We see him trying to move his fingers, his feet, looking around as the demon Miles approaches him from the ceiling, pressing his hand into Miles' chest as he hyperventilates, struggling to breathe. All exactly like a sleep paralysis demon. So, okay. In this short, Miles' spider sense is a representation and amplification of his anxiety. And it sort of supercharges a panic attack. That's a really cool and unique way to depict the superpower, but why does this matter in the long run? Well, this could be very bad news for Miles, because the long-term effects of this sort of anxiety can be deadly. Now, I want to be very clear up front that if you are ever having a panic attack like Miles does in this short film, even though it sucks, you will be okay. It might feel like you're having a heart attack, like you can't breathe, like you're dying, but you're not going to. That's important, and I can't stress it enough. That being said, if left untreated, the long-term effects of these sorts of panic attacks and general anxiety disorder can lead to heart problems. These include increased blood pressure, decreased heart rate variability, or a rapid heart rate, all of which can lead to potentially serious complications down the line. None of that would be good news for Miles, and given the severity of the panic attack we see in The Spider Within, I worry that the kid is a ticking time bomb, waiting for his heart to just give up the ghost.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Now, I already hear some of you typing away in the comments, letting us know that...
Oh, come on! Way to put an ad in the most important video, guys.
letting us know that because of his powers as Spider-Man, Miles has enhanced durability, endurance, and a healing factor that should protect him from these sorts of long-term effects.
No.
And that's correct. But I
Really?
think we also need to consider that this isn't normal anxiety or a normal panic attack. It's super anxiety and a super panic attack, wildly amplified by his spider sense, an ability so powerful it can take control of Spider-Man's body and apparently transcend the multiverse. And given that Spider-Man has died from the effects of illness or poison in the comics before, don't count this out for Miles. His
Yeah.
superpowers are killing him in the long.
I mean, yeah, like, the fact of the matter is, guys, like, yeah, Peter Parker has done a lot of stuff. Some things that consider the unnatural. And this man is still a boy. This man is still from Earth. This man is not from a different planet. He's not Superman. Peter Parker is just on Earth like you and me. So, normal stuff that can send you and me to the pearly white gates can happen to Peter Parker. Unless you want to tell me that recently the Marvel comics are down that Miles is a freaking descendant from an alien god. I don't want to hear it.
Run. So, is that it? Is Miles doomed to die a slow death as his heart gradually gives out from the
No,
weight of this
he talked with
anxious
Jefferson.
pressure of
He talked with his
suffering
dad,
attacks
right?
Whenever the balancing act of his personal and superhero lives becomes too much? Thankfully, no. Though
Okay.
I would hesitate to say that an anxiety disorder is outright curable, they are treatable. Firstly, there are some medications that can help ease many of the side effects of anxiety disorders, but even without that, there are plenty of ways to fight anxiousness. Seeking professional help from a therapist is a great way to handle anxiety, especially ones that specialize in cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. This is a wildly simplified explanation, but CBT is an action-oriented form of therapy where a professional helps a patient identify the problems they want to solve and give them specific strategies on confronting said problems. For example, if a patient is, say, suddenly feeling overwhelmed by the great responsibility of leading a double life as a student and a superhero that leads to panic attacks,
Yeah.
the therapist might help the patient develop ways of recognizing when those panic attacks are starting and then grounding themselves so the panic attacks don't completely overwhelm them.
Yes.
Then they can wait the panic out in a healthy way and then continue on with their day. But even just talking with your loved ones about your problems is a great way to start the journey of overcoming your
Just like
anxiety.
Miles did.
And do you want to know the best part? We see Miles take those first steps in the short itself. Remember, the whole thing ends with Miles confiding in his dad about his problems, the mundane stress in his life from homework and girl troubles. And what's more, Miles is actually probably in the best position a superhero with anxiety can be in. He knows for a fact that there are other people like him out there facing the same struggles.
Yeah.
Depending on where Beyond the Spider-Verse goes, he'll even have access to an entire multiverse of spider people, friends, colleagues, and even a professional Spider-Man therapist that he can confide in and talk through his problems with. This is
That
actually
is if
something I
Miguel
really
lets him
connected
in.
with when I first watched Into the Spider-Verse. The idea that you're not alone in your struggles. That's been one of the main themes of the series. In Into the Spider-Verse, after Miles loses his Uncle Aaron, all the other spider people check in on him. They empathize with the loss and help Miles through it. They know what it's like. They let him know that he isn't the only one wearing the mask, so to speak, having to move forward with his everyday life and the great responsibility thrust onto his shoulders despite this unimaginable
R.I.P. Uncle Aaron.
And the same thing happens with his dad. Miles lost an uncle in this movie, but remember, Jefferson lost a brother too. And Miles and his dad are able to help each other through that shared pain, just like Jefferson does in this short with Miles's anxiety. All by just asking what's bothering him and listening. The first step in Miles treating his condition. And that's the lesson that we should be taking away from the spider within. Whether you're stressed about your homework, or have anxiety about someone you like, or feel like you have the weight of the world on your superpowered shoulders, there are people out there who are willing to listen, willing to share that load with you, to lift you up when you fall down.
Spider-Man.
All you gotta do is take the leap. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory.
Yeah. That's gonna be the video, guys. Make sure you like the video so I know you guys enjoy, and comment down below what do you guys think. Honestly, I just love Across. I really do enjoy this Into the Spider-Verse trilogy that we're experiencing, and this theory is spot on, as well as the message from Spider Within. Okay? You're not alone. Okay? If you're going through anxiety, please seek help. You can talk down with your loved ones, get professional help, but always remember that there is someone out there willing to listen. Okay? We can do this. We are all in this together. I know there are going to be people that you can lean your shoulder on. And honestly, that's the best thing we all can do as people. Just reaching out for someone who needs our help. And, understanding that you're not alone. There's people out there who are going through similar situations as you. And it's nice to go out there and form new bonds or strengthening already existing bonds. Look at me, I'm getting emotional over here. And subscribe, guys. We're trying to upload daily. This is SwanGamer54 signing off.